Hello everybody, it's that college football guy into the video. I thought I was going to have time to do this while I was parked here taking my break. Fortunately, they said they need to get this load here a lot earlier than planned, which means I gotta go. So, here we go. Oh, be quiet. Title of the video: who is the +1 for UNC, and what do I mean by that? What the heck is going on here? Okay. For those who have not paid attention to the other videos I've done on this channel, let me say something. I have thought that the crown jewel that the SEC was chasing after was North Carolina. I also thought the Big Ten was chasing after North Carolina. And Florida State and Clemson are kind of being like a +1 scenario. You ever understand how a +1 works? Well, Missouri was the +1 when Texas A&M joined. It was either Missouri or West Virginia. They picked Missouri. Now, rumors, a long time. And we're gonna bounce a little bit, everybody. So I'm sorry, but I'm on the interstate here in a very tropical Florida off of I-10. I'm on my way into Tallahassee. Driving through it, I'm actually heading to Jacksonville. Come on, son. All right. And head there to deliver, and then pick up a load in Jacksonville and head back to Nashville. I hope. So that I can get home on Friday, which would be nice. But I digress. We're talking about here. Excuse me. Allergies. I had thought for a while that, Florida State coming to the SEC, initially I thought there was going to be something, but the more I've been hearing from people I talk to is that Florida State to the Big Ten is pretty much done. The only question is who's their +1 to go in with them. Who's the one who's going to go in with Florida State? Who is it going to be? And I'm like, okay. Could it be? Who could be the one that goes in with Florida State? And it's like, I don't know. But the thought was, since they couldn't get Notre Dame, the Big Ten's wet dream would have been Notre Dame and North Carolina. Notre Dame said no, which isn't a surprise to anybody, really. And so they turned to Florida State. And if you went on there, Florida State has had some significant movement to the Big Ten coming in because what a lot of people have said, and I'm going to give credit where credit's due. Greg Flugar from Peek Around the Corner, he's the first one that I could find that actually said this. But then again, Greg's been ahead of the curve on a lot of things. I said it on X, on Twitter, he's becoming a juggernaut in terms of college football inside information. That doesn't work for a major media outlet. But he said Florida State coming in the Big Ten. Because I've heard a lot of things about Florida State coming in the Big Ten. I've heard that. And I remember Steve Big Mountain Podcast, he said, in fact, he heard a lot about Florida State coming in too, but nothing about Clemson. Now, Greg just did a video, Big Around the Corner, about Florida State and Clemson having third-party back-channel communications. Everybody from the ACC is having or has had back-channel communications with the Big Ten, the SEC, and the Big 12 because to do their due diligence on this would be absolutely foolish. They need to find out what their options are. If it's back-channel or not, you need to have a clue what you're dealing with here, so you know how to prepare for the future. You'd be a fool to not do it. So, hearing this, I'm like, okay, so Clemson's having back-channel communications, and Greg said that the meeting happened somewhere outside of Columbus. So I heard this video, and I contacted a few people I know and say, hey, any truth to this? About the meeting? I kind of heard about the meeting. Clemson going in? I don't know. And that's what, I don't know. Are the academics calling the shots, or is it, what's more important right now? to get more. You already got more money than the Big Ten. Is it more about getting the brands you want or getting the schools you want? Greg called it chalk, Florida State and Clemson going to the Big Ten. I'm not going to do that just yet. Because I've talked to a lot of people, and the same thing they've had is the academics want at least one academic school in here, and I don't know if Florida State qualifies in their eyes. Because, truth be told, no one knows what qualifies in their eyes except them. And they're not talking, so we don't have a clue. If they don't deem Florida State, you need another school like a Virginia, a Georgia Tech, maybe even a Miami. But I've heard that Miami has cooled significantly. Not because of academics, but because of attitude. How they feel that they're a premier program who deserves to be in the Big Ten. Oh boy. Didn't y'all learn anything from San Diego State on saying that you deserve something, how it blows up in your face? Did you learn anything from them? But then again, you probably weren't paying attention. You were so busy in your little ACC bubble, you didn't pay attention to everything outside the world going on. Okay. What does all of this mean? Is there insider edge going into Florida State and Clemson possibly going together? Yes, there is. Is it guaranteed? No, it's not. Because they could, the problem is they said, well, you know, Tony Bertini or Kevin Morton, they don't have a vote in this. The university presidents and chancellors are the ones who vote on this. And if they want somebody else other than Clemson, then they're going to get somebody else other than Clemson. Everybody said the reason why the SEC has turned off Florida State and Clemson, they don't care if they come in. Yeah, because I've been hearing a lot that they feel Dabo has brought Clemson down, and he's going to have a job until he retires, and he's going to make Clemson worse than South Carolina in a few years. Which, imagine that train of thought. There's some people in the SEC are thinking of that way, and I brought this up in the past. The old guard of the SEC. I brought this up. The old guard wants to bring back together the old Southern Conference. What do they need to accomplish that? North Carolina and Virginia, who are starting to emerge as the two candidates. Could the old guard be getting their way? But then again, the old guard is not just presidents and chancellors. It is huge money donors from various universities all over the SEC. And your big donor says you're not going to get that money unless you bring these schools in. You think any of them are going to say no? Which makes me wonder, are they going to completely get what they want? Because it was either Virginia or Virginia Tech to get North Carolina, and they wanted West Virginia way back, and some of them still do want West Virginia in the SEC. They're like, okay, let's just say for the sake of argument that North Carolina and Virginia, North Carolina's going. Here's the one thing. Why do I say North Carolina's going? Why did Florida State turn to Clemson? That's it. The Big Ten turned to Clemson. Apparently there was a back channel meeting, and North Carolina basically told the Big Ten, thanks but no thanks. We're not interested in joining your conference right now. We're interested in regionality and stay close to home, which means either we stay in the ACC or we go to the SEC. The Big Ten does not fit into that plan. Regionality apparently has all of a sudden become important. Why? That I have no idea. So that took North Carolina out of the equation. That's why Clemson started to pop up for the Big Ten. The SEC doesn't care if Florida State and Clemson go in. They get North Carolina and Virginia. The old Southern Conference is restored. Do they stop at 18? But realistically, it makes more sense to go to 20. That's just me. It would make more sense to go to 20. But, okay, if you did 20, and say the old guard got their way, it's West Virginia. Okay, fine. Who's the plus one in that scenario? Would they be crazy enough to try to steal Kansas? I doubt it. highly doubt it. But who would they only left to take? You got Texas and Texas A&M. Would you bring in Oklahoma State? Lock down the state of Oklahoma? Possibility. Texas A&M and Texas, Oklahoma State and Oklahoma. The rivalries back together in the SEC. It's a possibility. Is the Big Ten going to go past 20? I hear some of you in the comments. And ready to type it away so the video's over. Is the Big Ten going to go past 20? I've heard one simple thing. Not unless Notre Dame's part of the package. If Notre Dame is not part of it, they're not going past 20. So basically, if you're not Florida State and Clemson, unless Notre Dame comes in, you have zero shot. And does Stanford have a shot of coming in with Notre Dame? They could. Would Stanford want to? This is one of the rare cases they said, like, they joined the ACC for academics. But they got turned off by the Big Ten, supposedly. Rumorly, allegedly. I don't know if I buy this, but supposedly because they had to share their research. And they don't want to share their research. They want to keep it in-house. All Big Ten research is shared across the board. They don't want to do that. I realize my CB's making noise in the background. It makes it a little bit easier to hear. So, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at going like, this is crazy. So is it a done deal? Florida State and Clemson to the Big Ten and North Carolina, Virginia to the SEC? Absolutely not. There could be a monkey wrench thrown into the plans, and things could go crazy. They could decide the last minute they could be Florida State and Georgia Tech or Florida State and Virginia. And if it's Florida State and Virginia, then SEC probably goes Clemson, North Carolina, and then waits for the Big 12 to do their thing in 2031, and they'll be West Virginia and Virginia Tech, because they want to get back in Virginia. They like to restore the old Southern Conference, but the Big Ten is also liking Virginia, but not as much as expanding to new territory. Even though Virginia's close, not necessarily. So who do I think is going to be the plus one? I didn't think this was possible. I'm thinking the old Southern Conference, Virginia, getting back together again, and it's happening. The old guard getting their way. And could the old guard get their way again by adding West Virginia in 2031? Or was this to get the old guard happy and tell them to shut up? Unless West Virginia blows up, and then, hey, we'll add them then. But I can still see West Virginia getting added because they're great in attendance, they're great in TV viewership. They're not so good on the field, but the fact is, media outlets don't care sometimes if you win or not. If the people show up to watch you, whether in person or on a platform, whether you win or lose, that's valuable. So, it's kind of crazy thinking about it, isn't it? But is Greg that far off? Absolutely not. I was going to do something about it. I saw his video last night. I'm like, well, that kind of scratched that idea. I guess I'm going to, in ways, agree with him. But he's saying it's chalk. I'm saying it's not. I still hear too much chatter about Georgia Tech and Virginia. Because if the academics don't deem Florida State valuable enough, if they do deem Florida State valuable enough, Florida State and Clemson are a shoo-in. So, we will see. We will see. Everybody's way here because we've got a bunch of cars behind me. Get over in this right lane and let everybody have some fun passing me as we have an airplane. An airplane? I don't think you can see it on the way here. Parts of an airplane, flatbed going the opposite direction. They got highway patrol blocking off the highway as it drives. Fun stuff you see while driving on the interstate as a truck driver. But I've done enough blabbing about this. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments. So thanks everybody for watching. If you haven't done it already, do me a favor. Smash that like button. Hit that thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm. It helps the video be seen by more people. Comment on the video. You agree with Blake? Rain, mouth, same frequency. Here we go. Florida State and Clemson, you agree that's chalk or not? I don't. There's still too many moving parts up in the air. Florida State to the Big Ten, that I'll say is chalk. As who's their +1 coming with them, it's up in the air at this point. But UNC to the SEC appears to be also be a done deal. Who would be their +1? You can comment on both if you want to. Let me know who you think the +1s are. Florida State to the Big Ten with somebody, UNC to the SEC with somebody. Who do you think they are? Let me know about that down in the comments. If you have any video suggestions, throw those down in the comments. If I like them, I'm going to use the video suggestion and I'm going to shout you out in the video. Share the video if you want to, and if you haven't done it already, those who are subscribed to the channel, thank you for doing so. If you haven't yet, go ahead and check out some of the other videos I've done. If you like them, hey, subscribe to the channel. You know, slowly on that crawl up to 1,000, just to try to make a little money here to help out the groceries, right? So, thanks everybody for watching as I deal with this traffic. I don't know if you can see it or anything, but I'm starting to sweat because if I turn on the AC, you cannot hear me. So I had to go without the air conditioner here in 94-degree heat. So it's a little warm in this truck right now. But thanks everybody for watching. Hope you're having a great Thursday. Be safe out there and please be good to each other.